Every time that flag's unfurled, they coming to America. Got a dream to take them there. They coming to America. Got a dream they come to share. They coming to like California, you'd see them wearing their baggies, Warachi sandals too, a bushy blonde hairdo, serving you. And they come from the smaller towns, and beat up cars with guitars and drummers go crack, boom. R-O-C-K in the USA, R-O-C-K in the USA.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Washington, D.C. and the 70th International Astronautical Congress. Please welcome your host, Washington, D.C.'s own Leon Harris.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Oh, good morning. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 70th International Astronautical Congress, hosted by the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics. Our theme today, the power of the past, the promise of the future. And that theme is going to take us on the remarkable journey that each of you have actually lived and continue to explore every single day. 50 years ago, we set foot on the moon, inspiring the world to dream and reach for the stars. For the past 5 decades now, the trajectory of space engagement has reached farther out into the solar system and has broadened here on Earth to include our vibrant international community. Today, we celebrate our collective accomplishments. Among them is the 50th anniversary of Apollo 11, when astronaut Neil Armstrong proudly declared, "One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," and then ushered in a new era of universal discovery with those words. Well, as the news capital of the United States, Washington, D.C. is so proud to be the site of this week-long conference for each of you, the true newsmakers from around the globe. You have been making headlines in space exploration for decades. You've traveled here from many different nations to discuss, to share, to learn, to debate, to advance, and to praise the international milestones and partnerships that are the hallmarks of collaboration. What you're going to experience in this morning's opening ceremonies will honor and pay tribute to you, as well as inspire and entertain you, we hope. As someone who has been in the news business for a long time, since the 80s, I can tell you that very few news stories that we cover excite and engage people like the ones that you have lived and have breathed throughout your entire careers. And as evidence of this, today's International Astronautical Federation, the world's leading space advocacy body, has 366 member organizations in 8 countries. Among them are all leading space agencies, companies, research institutions, universities, societies and associations, institutes, and museums worldwide. So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's celebrate the 70th anniversary of the International Astronautical Congress.
when the founding members of the International Astronautical Federation gathered for the first time, they could not have imagined the astonishing success awaiting its annual Congress, the International Astronautical Congress. It all began in 1950 with only 20 delegates from 8 countries. Over the past 70 years, the IAF has organized the IAC in 32 countries and 56 different cities, ensuring a constant dialogue between all space nations. Over the past 70 years, countless scientists have presented their latest work and updated each other on global space developments. Over the past 70 years, the IAF has recognized over 450 individuals who've distinguished themselves in space activities and cooperation. Over the past 70 years, space agencies have highlighted their activities and programs, industries have built new partnerships, and policymakers have discovered how space services can benefit humankind. Over the past 70 years, the IAC has brought together innovators and free thinkers from a wide variety of backgrounds, facilitating the exchange of knowledge to develop groundbreaking solutions. Over the past 70 years, the IAF has learned that diversity represents our future and has strived to include and connect all space people. Today, the IAF counts over 366 members from 68 countries, and its annual Congress, the IAC, attracts more than 6,500 delegates from over 80 countries. Happy anniversary, dear space friends. Cheers to the next 70 years.
You have spent your lives fueled by the power of discovery. It is your oxygen as you breathe in what others can only imagine on this grand galactic ride.
We stand on the shoulders of centuries of exploration and over 5 decades marking lunar landings. Yet we know this is only the start of what's beyond where the stars collide.
No one knows better than you that the sky is not the limit, nor will it ever be, because there is no end to where we dare to dream, knowing that all that lies beyond is yet to be revealed.
I can show you the world, shining, shimmering, splendid. Tell me, princess, now when did you last let your heart decide?
I can open your eyes, take you wonder by wonder, over, sideways, and under, on a magic carpet ride.
A whole new world, a new fantastic point of view. No one to tell us no, or where to go, or say we're only dreaming.
A whole new world, a dazzling place I never knew. But when I'm way up here, it's crystal clear, and now I'm in a whole new world with you.
Now I'm in a whole new world with you.
Unbelievable sights, indescribable feeling, soaring, tumbling, freewheeling through an endless diamond sky. Don't you dare close your eyes.
100,000
Hold your breath, it gets better. I'm like a shooting star. I've come so far.
I can't go back to where I used to be.
Every turn I surprise.
I'll
Chase them everywhere. There's time to spare. Let me share this whole new world with you.
A whole new world.
That's where we'll be.
That's where we'll be.
A thrilling chase, a wondrous place for you and me.
Hundreds and thousands of years ago, even as ancient cultures thought the earth was a flat disk afloat in ocean waters, early dreamers looked skyward with wonder and imagination.
Envisioning space exploration long before the inventions of science and technology made them a reality.
Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination.
We'll begin with a spin, traveling in a world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation.
If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Want to change the world? There's nothing to it. imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be.
If you wanna view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Wanna change the world? There's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with your imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to
The Westinghouse Broadcasting Company filmed the first motion pictures of the Russian satellite. You are about to witness this historic event.
Right now it's north of Auckland, New Zealand, and moving southeast. And in about 50 minutes from now, it will be over Spain.
The United States, on its first try, sent a man into space and recovered him safely.
All right, lift off and the clock is started. Andover, this is Telstar Control at Canaveral. We've got good news. We've got our orbit.
Good evening, Mr. Vice President. The call is being relayed through our Telstar satellite.
You're coming through nicely, Mr. Capel.
I'm so happy to have been granted the honor of being the first woman in the world to go into space.
Hatch of airlock is open.
I never forget it. Very black sky, brightly stars, and very quiet. I heard my heart and my breathing.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
40 feet down, 2.5. Picking up some dust. Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again.
Boy.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Welcome to Innovation Hall. Thanks to discoveries from space exploration that have created new technologies and markets, our lives here on Earth have been vastly improved by product spin-offs. From how we work and play to health, medicine, transportation, thousands of things we take for granted every day.
So, every area of our lives are way better.
Absolutely.
Wait, is that how I got my GPS?
You bet. And space technology is also why our cell phones take such great pictures.
So I can also thank the space program for giving me a great night's sleep on my memory foam mattress?
Like I said, we humans have a lot to be thankful for.
And the LED lights at rock concerts?
Think of how boring it would be without them.
And now I know when I volunteer in my community for emergencies, that's where those silver blankets came from.
You got it. Bit by bit, putting it together.
Piece by piece, only way to make a work of art.
Every moment makes a contribution.
Every little detail plays a part.
Having just a vision's no solution.
Everything depends on execution.
Putting it together, that's what counts.
Ounce by ounce, putting it together.
Small amounts adding up to make a work of art.
First of all, you need a good foundation.
Otherwise, it's risky from the start.
Takes a lot of careful conversation.
But without the proper preparation,
having just the vision's no solution.
Everything
depends on execution. The art of making art is putting it together.
Bit by bit.
Art isn't easy.
Art isn't easy. Every word, every line, every glance, every movement you improve and refine. Then refine each improvement.
Bit
By bit, putting it together.
by bit,
Part by part,
Fit by fit,
start by start,
stride by stride,
by kick,
glide by glide,
stick by stick,
side by side, by side by side, by side by
side.
and
That
is the state of the art.
In 1971, the Soviet Union launched and operated the first of many space stations, starting with Salyut 1.
My rocket system is like Lego. You put it together from pieces. The idea was always to get access to space cheaper and for more applications.
Union in Space talked about for weeks, months, and years now between an American space capsule and a Russian space capsule. We are literally moments from docking now.
Moscow is go for docking. Houston is go for docking.
Well done, Tom. It was a good show.
It proved to the world that two countries with vastly different political systems could work together.
Here's to a soft landing.
For the first time, Earth has received pictures of Mars taken from ground level.
It's probably the most sophisticated spacecraft ever designed.
We have liftoff of the Titan Centaur carrying the first of two Voyager spacecraft to extend man's senses farther into the solar system than ever before.
10, 9. Every nation that wants to play a role in the worldwide space business needs its own access to space.
That is undoubtedly the greatest success of European space effort.
India also entered the space age with her satellite Rohini. It was launched by SLV-3, an Indian-built rocket from the Space Center.
This first true spaceship, not a capsule, leaves Earth exactly 2 decades after the Russian cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin became the first man to enter space.
You go forward this morning on a daring enterprise, and you carry the hopes and prayers of all Americans with you.
Fly like an eagle.
Shortly after midnight, the big Soviet rocket lifted in orbit the base module of what is intended as a permanent manned space station.
Entire crew is go.
And liftoff of the Space Shuttle Discovery with the Hubble Space Telescope, our window on the universe.
Liftoff of the Proton rocket and the Zarya control module. The International Space Station is underway.
China's first unmanned spacecraft, Shenzhou-1, lifted off from Jiuquan Satellite Launching Center.
The crew of the first expedition to the International Space Station was ready to put its years of preparation into practice.
First expedition on space station requests permission to take the radio cross prime Alpha.
Temporarily take it as Alpha.
The lessons learned and the technology developed from building the station will also help blaze the trail for further exploration beyond Earth's orbit.
Upon a star, your dreams can take you very far. When you wish upon a dream, life ain't always what it seems, oh yeah. What you see are night so clear, in the sky so very deep. Come on, you're a shining star. No matter who you are, shining bright to see what you can truly be. You can truly be. Shining star come into view. Oh yeah, shining watchful light on you. Give you strength to carry on. Oh, make your body big and strong. Ornament out of the sun, yeah. Now my work has just begun, oh yeah. Though I have to stand alone, yeah. Listen now, I've got my own, yeah. So if you find yourself in need, why don't you listen to these words of heed? Be a giant grain of sand. Words of wisdom, yes I can. You're a shining star, no matter who you are. Shining bright to see what you can truly be. You're a shining star, no matter who you are. Shining bright to see what you can truly be. You're a shining star, no matter who you are. Shining bright to see what you can truly be. Shining star for you to see what your life can truly be. Shining star for you to see what your life can truly be. Shining star for you to see what your life can truly be.
The Japanese commercial launch service seemed poised to secure a position in the international marketplace.
The H-2A packs a very powerful punch when going into orbit.
It fulfilled China's first manned space mission in 2003.
Many of my colleagues in the mission control room burst into tears when the mission was accomplished.
这一刻也确实是体现了这个中华民族的这种伟大。
Cassini's 7-year journey to Saturn has transformed our understanding of this gas giant planet, its distinctive rings and multiple moons.
The world's first privately funded manned rocket plane was launched this morning.
If our attempt is successful, Spaceship One's pilot will become the first civilian pilot to ever cross the boundary of space in a completely privately funded vehicle.
I'm looking forward to working with my crewmates and joining Shane and his crew on board Space Station.
The first female commander of the International Space Station, Peggy Whitson.
This is the first spacecraft to land near an asteroid and retrieve some samples and return those samples to Earth.
China is one step closer to having its own space station.
Scientists are now working hard on the country's first docking mission.
And liftoff of the Atlas V with Curiosity, seeking clues to the planetary puzzle about life on Mars.
Cheering from scientists at the Space Research Organisation in India after the country became the only one in the world to successfully reach Mars on its first attempt.
History has been created today.
Rosetta has transformed our understanding of cometary science. It was the first mission to orbit a comet, the first to land on a comet.
And liftoff at dawn, the dawn of Orion, and a new era of American space exploration.
After a voyage of 3 billion miles in 9.5 years, the New Horizons spacecraft is flying by Pluto. Mike, let me do this. Let me trench myself. It's not a dream.
All the rockets that we've ever flown as a civilization have been expendable. The rocket you're seeing is completely reusable. That's a game changer because it changes the cost structure of space travel completely.
Today, if all goes well, we'll make history by being the first to fly back and land the first stage of our rocket. As you can see, Cygnus lifting off on top of its Antares rocket on its mission to deliver supplies and science to the International Space Station.
When we started the vehicle, there was 2 requirements that we wrote down on a piece of paper. Must be affordable, must launch every 24 hours. Once you create space as a really frequently accessed domain, you can experiment in it, you can create things in it.
This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, the age of Aquarius, Aquarius, Aquarius.
Harmony and understanding,
Sympathy and trust abounding.
no more falsehoods or derision. Golden living dreams of visions,
Mystic crystal revelation. And the mind's true liberation. Aquarius, Aquarius. When the moon is in the 7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars, and peace will guide the planet, This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, the age of Aquarius, 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 Aquarius,
All right, very nice, very nice. Nice going. Let's give our performers another round of applause. They It turns out they're all local talent here, but they all perform on Broadway, and they wanted to come down here and perform for you. So thank you all so much for that. We appreciate that. All right. With that, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the stage the IAF President, Jean-Yves Le Gall.
Good morning, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, and ladies and gentlemen. And it is a great privilege and a pleasure as President of the International Astronautical Federation to warmly welcome you to the 70th International Astronautical Congress. I would like first by saying how honored I am by the presence of so many space professionals and enthusiasts who, just as I do, deeply believe that space is not only our past, but also our future. No matter where you come from, whether this is your first, 10th, or 30th IAC, whether you are a renowned scientist, an experienced engineer, or undergraduate student, I am sincerely very pleased to welcome you today to the IAC 2019. On this occasion, I would like to extend my deepest thanks to the host organization, the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics, whom we have been working with for the past 3 years to ensure the success of this IAC. Let me also acknowledge our partners, the International Academy of Astronautics, the International Institute of Space Law, and the Space Generation Advisory Council for their continuous support. This gathering here in the beautiful city of Washington, where monuments and memorials, eclectic neighborhoods, and unique history makes it a place unlike any other, marks the 70th anniversary of the International Astronautical Congress. Who would have thought 70 years ago that the very first IAC, which took place in Paris in 1950 and gathered 20 delegates from 8 countries, would have grown to become the world's biggest space event, attracting thousands of participants. Over the 70 past years, the IAF has organized the IAC in 34 countries and 56 cities, ensuring a constant dialogue between space nations and providing a forum for the exchange of experiences and ideas, as well as cultural link in support to the technology that is opening the universe to mankind. For the past 70 years, the IAC has covered all space sectors and topics and offered everyone the latest space information and developments in academia and industry, networking opportunities, contacts, and potential partnerships. For 70 years, scientists, researchers, and engineers have presented their latest work and have kept up to date on global developments. In short, for nearly a century, the IAC has been and continues to be the one place and time of year where the world comes together to explore and delve into the various fascinating aspects of space. This is why I would like to genuinely acknowledge the past IAF residents and founding members whom, through their leadership, have propelled the IAC to an unmissable gathering. Please join me in a round of applause for the founding members of the IAF who made this Congress such a stunning success. Space, the power of the past, the promise of the future. A very carefully chosen theme which perfectly matches one of the main reasons we have gathered here. Indeed, this week, we celebrate the glorious anniversary of Apollo 11 mission, which carried the first man to the moon 50 years ago. And what a better place than the capital of the United States of America to commemorate that one giant leap for mankind. Since their very foundation, the United States has been a nation of restless pioneers, always reaching new horizons, surpassing their own abilities and daring to venture into the unexplored to expand the boundaries of human knowledge. And it is here in the United States that Apollo 11 was launched by a Saturn V rocket from Kennedy Space Center on Merritt Island, Florida, on July 16, 1969. It was the fifth crewed mission of NASA Apollo program. I am sure that, as myself, you were forever marked by this precise moment when the Apollo 11 crew landed on the surface of the moon. Those moments of greatness served as a catalyst for many generations and will continue to inspire many. You will therefore understand our excitement in coming back to the United States for the sixth time and to Washington for the third time to host this very special IAC this year. Today, humanity stands at the dawn of a new era for space exploration that will demand the best of its abilities, knowledge, courage, and dedication. The future of space exploration is in our hands, and we have the colossal responsibility of ensuring its best expansion and development. Because yes, space exploration has a real scientific value and is truly beneficial to mankind in many ways. In addition to human curiosity, the exceptional chance to explore and to see what's out there, to understand where we come from, our universe, and our place in it, space exploration gives us a better understanding of all the possible threats we can face with our solar system and has led to the creation of various cutting-edge technology developments that directly benefit our lives on Earth. Thus, let us look at space exploration as a waste of resources. Let us not look at space exploration as a waste of resources, time or money, but let's seize every single opportunity we have to make this intrepid adventure worthwhile and long-lasting. This is why I invite each and every one of you to embrace this week and exchange, network, discuss, and create partnerships that will truly benefit us and make a difference for the future of space exploration. I am sure that you feel as excited as I am to participate in this great Congress. I must say, with some emotion, that I come towards the end of my speech. Indeed, after 3 years as president of the IAF, this Friday as a General Assembly, I will hand over the presidency to Professor Pascal Ehrenfreund, chair of the Executive Board of the German Aerospace Center, DLR, and IAF Vice President for Communications, Publications, and Global Conferences. Professor Ehrenfreund will be the very first woman to ever lead the Federation since its creation in its role of promoting space for the benefit of humanity. I am therefore extremely happy to make a point of honor to my global innovation agenda main focus, diversity, by handing over to a very distinguished lady. In 2024, we will have a woman on the moon, but in 2019, we will have a woman in the IAF. With these words, let me close by saying that none of us can achieve what we want alone. It's time to redouble our efforts and not let anything stand in the way of what we can achieve together. Let us be confident in the intelligence, ingenuity, and abilities we possess, and together, let's forge a world where space prevails. Once again, welcome and enjoy the week. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, President Legal, or rather, should I say, merci beaucoup. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please join me now in welcoming AIAA President John S. Langford. All right, my man, they're all yours.
Because of what you have done, the heavens have become a part of man's world. For one priceless moment in the whole history of man, all the people on this earth are truly one in their pride in what you have accomplished, and one in our prayers that you will return safely. Those are the words of the 37th President of the United States, Richard Nixon, talking to the crew of Apollo 11 on the moon 50 years ago. And it was so striking this summer as part of the celebrations to hear Michael Collins talk about how on the tours after the landing, when they had returned safely, around the world, no one said, "Congratulations, you did it." Everyone said, "Congratulations, we did it." People around the world were part of this undertaking. And I think it's a very appropriate and striking thought to open this 70th Congress of the International Astronautical Federation, a gathering of over 5,000 space professionals and enthusiasts from 70 different nations. I'm John Langford. I'm the current president of the American Institute for Aeronautics and Astronautics. The AIAA is the world's largest professional society devoted entirely to aerospace. And on behalf of our entire membership and our staff, it's my great honor to welcome you to Washington, D.C. This promises to be an amazing week, and I wanted to quickly salute some of the folks who have helped make it possible. Among them, Sandy Magnus and Vincent Bowles, who've chaired the host organizing committee, and Dan Dunbacher and Craig Day and Gene Riley and all of the team at the AIAA who's worked so hard to pull this event together. And none of this would be possible, of course, without our financial sponsors. I especially want to salute our anchor sponsor, Lockheed Martin, and our gold sponsors, Boeing, Blue Origin, Northrop Grumman, SpaceBit, the UAE Space Agency, and many others. Now, this is a week about celebrating the power of the past and also the promise of the future. And a key part of keeping that promise is building our diversity. This is something that we at the AIAA are passionately committed to. Last week, we cheered the first spacewalk by an all-female crew, and this week we are joined by 25 diversity scholars. Could I ask the diversity scholars who are with us today just to stand briefly? I know it's a big crowd, but if you could just stand. Jim Bridenstine, this is your Artemis generation here. If everybody could welcome the diversity scholars and introduce yourself to them during the week. Thank you. And although we call it the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics, the AIAA is truly a global organization. I invite everyone here to join if you're not already a member. Diversity makes us stronger, and one need look no further than this room to see that the human exploration of space is an endeavor that we all share and that can continue to unite us. And finally, I want to recognize and thank two very distinguished guests, the Administrator of NASA and the Vice President of the United States, who are with us here today and who will be introduced in a few minutes. Your presence is powerful beyond words, and we appreciate it deeply. And in closing, I want to just quote Neil Armstrong, who in reply to the quote that I opened with said, "It's a great honor and a privilege for us to be here, representing not only the United States, but the people of peace of all nations, people with interest and curiosity and a vision for the future. It's an honor for us to be able to participate here today." Thank you very much. Welcome to Washington, D.C. and to IAC 2019.
Nicely done, nicely done. Thank you, John. Thank you, John. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from Lockheed Martin, Executive Vice President, Space, Richard Ambrose.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. Before I get started here, I thought those young performers were awful good this morning, don't you? And I'm really glad the IAC didn't ask me to sing my opening remarks because we would all been in trouble here this morning. Hey, it's a great pleasure to be here at the 70th International Astronautical Congress. On behalf of the women and men of Lockheed Martin, we are proud to serve as the anchor sponsor for this incredible gathering of distinguished leaders, delegates, and friends of the space industry. I would like to extend a special thank you to the International Astronautical Federation, and in particular, IAF President Dr. Jean-Yves Le Gall and IAF President-elect Dr. Pascal Ehrenfreund. I would also like to thank the Executive Director of the AIAA, Dan Dumbacher, for your instrumental role in making the IAC possible. Everyone in this room is here for a reason, and maybe it's to share innovative ideas, shape the future of the space economy, or debate the latest research. While we may have different motivations, we all play a role in building that future of space exploration and discovery. And that's an inspiring reason today why we should partner together across nations, governments, academia, and industry. 70 years ago, the world may have been without the internet, smart devices, or satellites that help predict weather, navigate here, but it's still a wonderful world full of innovation and bold discoveries. Great minds had long theorized about the power of rockets and their implications of spaceflight. Rocket societies had been formed around the world, and significant research, development, and testing was underway. There's no doubt the discoveries of that time powered the great beginnings of what we're here to celebrate and advance this week. And I know I don't have to remind anyone in this room that this year is especially significant, being the 50th anniversary of the first human stepping on the moon. I wonder if attendees of the first IAC knew just how close they were to reaching that milestone in just 20 years. We've made incredible strides in the last 7 decades, and there's still so much opportunity in front of us. So what comes next? As we celebrate 50 years of the Apollo program, there's no way to look past NASA's Artemis program to deliver the first woman and next man to the surface of the moon by 2024, then eventually take the first humans to Mars. Lockheed Martin is proud to have been part of every NASA mission to Mars, and we're extremely honored to play a role in the Artemis program with the Orion exploration spacecraft, which would not be possible without the partnering of many of you in this room. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Think about satellites. While there's ongoing debate on large or small constellations, there's no doubt one size doesn't fit all, and there's great missions and capabilities that are going to be delivered across the industry. Think about research and discovery, from probes and landers across the solar system to incredible work by astronauts in the International Space Station. The boundaries are limitless. Think about the growing global accessibility of space science. With representatives here from around the world, we are already strengthening the pursuit. Lockheed Martin is a proud partner with Arizona State University on the Milo Space Science Institute, which aims to bring together scientists, students, and industry around the globe to perform compelling science through new, affordable space missions. And we're looking forward to making an even greater impact as we reach more nations, agencies, and universities in the years to come. And then think about space tourism, harnessing space resources and growing a new space economy beyond low Earth orbit, not to mention advances in production and technology to get us to places we want to go. We already are applying this technology like AI, augmented reality, additive manufacturing, and digital twins into our manufacturing and sustainment processes, and these will only continue to more rapidly evolve. There's unbridled opportunity when it comes to space, and I can't begin to imagine all that we'll accomplish before the 140th IAC 70 years from now. Thank you all for what you're doing to help pave the way for the future of space. It's an honor to work alongside such great company as we pursue humanity's next giant leap and ensure a bright future for generations to come. I hope you enjoy this year's Congress.
Close my eyes and I can see a world that's waiting up for me that I call my own. Through the dark, through the door, through where no one's been before, but it feels like home.
They can say I'm going crazy. They can say I've lost my mind. I don't care, so call me crazy. Run away to a world that we design.
As every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. Of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. 1 million dreams for the world we're gonna make.
There's a house we can build. Every room inside is filled with things from far away. The special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day.
They can say we're going crazy. Oh, they can say we've lost our minds. I don't care, so call me crazy. We can live in a world that we desire.
'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the
my eyes to see. I close my eyes to see.
'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head.
A million dreams are keeping me awake.
A million dreams, a million dreams.
I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. For the world we're gonna make.
Can he go? In the sky.
There are big, tall, terrible giants in the sky. When you're way up high and you look below at the world you left and the things you know.
Little more than a glance is enough to show you just how small you are.
When you're way up high and you're on your own, a world like none that you ever know, where the sky is lead and the earth is stone. You're free to do whatever pleases you,
Exploring things you'd never dare, and you're aware.
'Cause suddenly there's a big, bright, beautiful starburst just ahead.
And asteroids that are bigger than they said.
And what you know is that you reach out, discovering what it's all about. 'Cause social media is better than before, here in the sky. Oh, wait, right.
Explorers, visionaries, restless minds that feed on challenges, invite the impossible, negate the naysayers.
While the lands of our birth differ, together we speak one language, the language of discovery.
We are a community of creators, creating a future that began in the imagination and is continuously fed by the hunger for exploration, for invention, for testing limits, and going beyond boundaries.
We are of one mind, one community united in purpose, changing our relationship with space, expanding the human experience, human engagement, human interaction.
You are the creators of the future as we will know it, as our children and grandchildren will know it, and as generations to follow will surely know it. To the right of you and to the left of you, we are partners, collaborators. The work that you are doing, the discoveries that you are making are the promise of the future.
Space is our canvas for limitless manned and robotic travel. Novel drivetrains take us far, while getting us anywhere on Earth in under an hour. journeying to the moon, and powering missions onto Mars. Converting solar power for the mighty climb. Exploration, knowledge, economic development. Expanding the human experience as never before. Bringing new frontiers of space ever closer as we push farther beyond what we imagine to create our new reality. Remote manufacturing sites, laboratories, reconnaissance platforms, leading to deep space journeys that take us farther than we've ever traveled before. This is our promise. This is our future. This is our lives.
One more time, ladies and gentlemen, I want to acknowledge our performers that we had with us, along with the quintet that we had who were from Broadway, who came here from New York to perform with us. You may have noticed we had some young high schoolers. They are probably going to wind up on Broadway someday. They're a group here in town called the Young Artists of America. I want to make sure we give them a nice little round of applause and thank you for their performance. Now, see, the idea is that there are so many of you who came here from out of town, from around the world, or wherever you may have come from. We wanted to showcase our local talent and local personalities. So, along with them, we have one more local personality that we want to share with you today. Some of you may already have a hint or an idea of who it is, but we're going to need a couple of minutes here to set up the stage to welcome our next, I don't want to use the word performer. Again, I'll say our next star. So take a moment now, if you'd like, to go ahead and relax. Please don't leave the room. We're going to take about 5 to 10 minutes here to set up the stage, and we'll come back and resume the program after that. But in the meantime, you can take a minute here to give yourselves a break and continue your networking and having a good time, and we'll resume the program right here in just a few minutes.
I want to tell you everything, the words I never got to see the first time around. And I remember everything from when we were the children playing in this fairground. Wish I was there with you now. If the whole world was watching, I'd still dance with you. Drive highways and byways, be there with you. Over and over, the only truth. Everything comes back to you. Saw that you moved on with someone new. In the pub that we met, he's got his arms around you. It's so hard, so hard. And I want to tell you everything, the words I never got to see the first time around. And I remember everything from when we were the children playing in this fairground. Wish I was there with you now. As if the whole world was watching, I'd still dance with you. Drive highways and byways, be there with you. Over and over, the only truth. Everything comes back to you. You still make me nervous when you walk in the room. Them butterflies, they come alive when I'm next to you. Over and over, the only truth. Everything comes back to you. And I know that it's wrong, that I can't move on, but there's something about you. As if the whole world was watching, I'd still dance with you. drive highways and byways to be there with you. Over and over, the only truth. Everything comes back to you. You still make me nervous when you walk in the room. Them butterflies, they come alive when I'm next to you. Over and over, the only truth. Everything comes back to you. Everything comes back to you.
There's so much that I never knew, but I'm still learning. Always planning, dream after dream, and wanting more things. But all the best things in life are free. We'll be happy wherever we'll be. So how about right now? Let's stay up from dusk till dawn. Lie here till we see the sun. Curl up inside your arms. Right here's where we belong. We're the lucky ones, living life forever young. Get lost up in love, just love. Tomorrow never comes, tomorrow never comes. We'll stay forever young, yeah, yeah. Like tomorrow never comes. Windmills turning, our hearts are burning with the sunrise. Kisses from the hot summer morning. Live the good life. Who knew that life could taste so sweet? I got all that I'll ever need right here, right now. Let's stay up from dusk till dawn. Lie here till we see the sun. Curl up inside your arms. Right here's where we belong. We're the lucky ones, living life forever young. Get lost up in love, just love. But tomorrow never comes, tomorrow into my life by ignorant people. Came close to making me believe I was nothing but evil. No one has the authority to tell us who we give our life to. You have the right to be loved by everyone who's willing to love you. They say blood is thicker than water. I say love is thicker than blood. They say blood is thicker than water. I say love is thicker than blood. 'Cause you and I are bound by a love line, by a love line. You and I are bound by a love line, by a love line. You and I are bound by a love line. It's what you find out for yourself and not what you're fed. It's what you feel down in your heart and not put in your head. Every day I pour myself into you, hoping that in time you pour yourself back into me, solidify this love line. They say blood is thicker than water. I say love is thicker than blood. They say blood is thicker than water. I say love is thicker than blood. 'Cause you and I are bound by a love line, by a love line. You and I are bound by a love line, by a love line. You and I are bound by a love line, by a love line. You and I are bound by a love line, by a love line. We'll walk together down this love line. I'll keep you safe and sound on this love line. Don't ever doubt the power of this love line. Yeah, we are bound to be free on this love line. Ooh, you and I are bound by a love line, by a love line. You and I are bound by a love line, by a love line. You and I are bound by a love line. You and I are bound by a love line. They say blood is thicker than water. I say love is thicker than blood. They say blood is thicker than water. I say love is thicker than blood. 'Cause you and I are bound by a love line, by a love line. You and I are bound by a love line, by a love line. You and I are bound by a love line, by a love line. You and I are bound by a love line, by a love line. You and I are bound by a love line, by a love line. You and I bound by love line, by love, bound by love line. You and I, bound by love line, you and I, bound by love line. You and I, you and I.
For all the times that you rain on my parade, and all the clubs you get in using my name. You think you broke my heart, oh girl, for goodness sake. You think I'm crying on my own, well I ain't. And I didn't want to write a song, 'cause I didn't want anyone thinking I still care or don't. But you still hit my phone up, and baby, I'll be moving on. And I think it should be something I don't want to hold back. Maybe you should know that my mama don't like you, and she likes everyone. And I never like to admit that I was wrong. And I've been so caught up in my job, didn't see what's going on. But now I know I'm better sleeping on my own. 'Cause if you like the way you look that much, oh baby, you should go and love yourself. And if you think that I'm still holding on to something, you should go and love yourself. When you told me that you hated my friends, the only problem was with you and not them. And every time you told me my opinion was wrong, and tried to make me forget where I came from. And I didn't want to write a song, 'cause I didn't want anyone thinking I still care or don't. But you still hit my phone up, and baby, I'll be moving on. And I think it should be something I don't want to hold back. Maybe you should know that my mama don't like you, and she likes everyone. And I never like to admit that I was wrong. And I've been so caught up in my job, didn't see what's going on. But now I know I'm better sleeping on my own. 'Cause if you like the way you look that much, oh baby, you should go and love yourself. And if you think that I'm still holding on to something, you should go and love yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please take your seats. The program will begin momentarily.
For all the times that you made me feel small, I fell in love, now I feel nothing at all. I never felt so low when I was vulnerable. Was I a fool to let you break down my walls? 'Cause if you like the way you look that much, oh baby, you should go and love yourself. And if you think that I'm still holding on to something, you should go and love yourself. 'Cause if you like the way you look that much, oh baby, you should go and love yourself. And if you think that I'm still holding on to something, you should go and love yourself.
Here we are in this moment, my eyes closed, but where we going? Here I am with my arms wide open. Go ahead, close the curtains. I don't care where we'll end up right now. Let's be in love. Here I am with my heart wide open. Go ahead, close the curtains, lady.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please take your seats. The program will begin momentarily.
I'm only one call away. I'll be there to save the day. Superman got nothing on me. I'm only one call away. Call me baby if you need a friend. I just wanna give you love. Come on, come on, come on. Reaching out to you, so take a chance. No matter where you go, no, you're not alone. I'm only one call away. I'll be there to save the day. Superman got nothing on me. I'm only one call away. Come along with me and don't be scared.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Administrator of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, Jim Bridenstine.
Welcome to the International Astronautical Congress, and welcome to the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. Well, you are going to, yes, please. You are going to be hearing a lot from me over the next week, and so today I have the great honor of, in fact, yielding my time to somebody who is far more important than me. The one who comes after me is the Vice President of the United States, and I certainly don't want to take a lot of his time, but I want to just say one thing that's important. Just a week ago, not even a week ago, a few short days ago, it was last week, Friday, we saw an unmanned spacewalk. We had the first all-woman spacewalk. Christina Cook and Jessica Meir, by their actions, resulted in what has now already been, I guess, calculated as 5.85 billion views on social media, and that's just social media alone. But here's what's important to note. That was the first all-woman spacewalk. Wait until we land the first woman on the South Pole of the moon. So it is a great honor for me to introduce the gentleman whose vision that was, the Vice President of the United States. Mike Pence was a student of history at Hanover College. He went on to get a law degree from Indiana University. The Hoosier State is his home state. And after about a decade of working in law and also in radio and television, he won a seat in the United States Congress from the great state of Indiana. But he didn't just represent the great state of Indiana, he also rose in the ranks and became elected chairman of the Republican Conference in the U.S. House of Representatives. From there, he decided to run for the governorship of the great state of Indiana. And while there, he had a magnificent record of both cutting taxes and increasing the budget surplus that was available in the state of Indiana at the same time. I will tell you this. The President of the United States, when he became president, decided to recreate the National Space Council here in the United States of America. He took his cabinet secretaries that are relevant to the space industry and, in fact, the space community at large: Secretary of Transportation, Secretary of Commerce, Secretary of Defense, Director of National Intelligence, and others, the NASA administrator. And he said, we're going to create a National Space Council because we want to make sure that we are working across agencies to move our space program forward as fast as possible. And then he selected the Vice President of the United States to chair the National Space Council. I can tell you this, the Vice President is a student of history. He applies it every day as he works. He's a student of America's space program. And as this conference is we are remembering the history, the 50th anniversary of Apollo, we are also doing something else. We are thinking about the promise of the future. And I am thrilled today to have the opportunity to introduce the Vice President of the United States, who is a good friend of mine, and he is the chairman of the National Space Council. Ladies and gentlemen, Vice President Mike Pence.
Thank you, Administrator Jim Bridenstine. Thank you for those kind words, but more importantly, would you all join me in thanking the great Administrator of NASA for the work he is doing to revive American leadership in space. And all the extraordinary leaders and innovators gathered here from all across America and all around the world. Men and women who share our vision for human exploration, for American and worldwide innovation, carrying us back to the vast expanse of space. It is my great honor to welcome all of you to this incredible gathering celebrating the power of the past and the promise of the future, the opening ceremony of the 70th International Astronautical Congress. Welcome to Washington, D.C. And as I begin, allow me to bring greetings from a man who is committed to renewing American leadership here on Earth and in the boundless expanse of space, and who has brought a renewed vigor and vision to America's space enterprise. I bring greetings from the 45th President of the United States of America, President Donald Trump. You know, the United States has always been a nation of restless pioneers, ever striving to explore uncharted lands, reach new horizons, and venture into the unknown, including efforts to expand the boundaries of human knowledge. And earlier this year, the world paid tribute to 3 great Americans and to the 400,000 men and women who made their journey possible 50 years ago this year, when those 3 Americans and all who support them undertook the most hazardous and dangerous and greatest adventure upon which mankind had ever embarked. They turned one small step for man into one giant leap for mankind. And today you'll help celebrate that. So would you join me in congratulating the 2019 World Space Award winners, the crew of Apollo 11. Including the incomparable Buzz Aldrin, who is with us here today, the grandson of Michael Collins, and the son of Commander Neil Armstrong, Mark Armstrong. Let's hear it, everybody. It's an honor to be with all of you and to remember the extraordinary contributions that you, Buzz, and your family members made to mankind 50 years ago. And as I stand before you today, as we remember the past, I'm proud to report that the United States of America is renewing the legacy of those courageous space pioneers and all they represent, because under President Donald Trump's leadership, America is leading in space once again. In our very first year in office, after it had lain dormant for nearly a quarter of a century, President Trump revived the National Space Council to coordinate space activities across the whole of government. And it is, as Jim Bridenstine said, my great honor to serve as chairman of the National Space Council, as other vice presidents have done before me. At President Trump's direction, we've renewed America's commitment to human space exploration, vowing to go further into space than ever before. In our first year in office, the President signed what came to be known as Space Policy Directive 1, making the national policy of the United States of America to return to the moon and prioritize crewed missions to the lunar surface. And earlier this year, President Trump made it the policy of this administration to return to the moon by 2024, ensuring that the next man and the first woman on the moon will both be American astronauts. In fact, as you just heard, NASA made history this past week when it successfully performed the first unmanned spacewalk. The first all-woman spacewalk is history, so join me in congratulating American astronauts Jessica Meir and Christina Cook for their historic accomplishments, past, present, and future. As President Trump has said, we will return American astronauts to the moon for the first time since 1972 for long-term exploration and use, not only to plant our flag and leave our footprint, but to establish a foundation for an eventual mission to Mars. With Apollo in the history books, the Artemis mission has begun, and we are well on our way to making NASA's Moon to Mars mission a reality. In order for us to take this next big leap, we'll develop the technologies to live on the moon for months and even years. We'll learn how to make use of resources that the moon has to offer. That includes mining oxygen from the lunar surface and rocks to fuel reusable landers, extracting water from the permanently shadowed craters of the South Pole, and developing a new generation of nuclear-powered spacecraft that will help us fly further and farther and faster than ever before. So we're going back to the moon and then to Mars, and we're taking steps to ensure that the American space industry is up to the task as well. Working with our partners from the User Advisory Group, we've promulgated a long range of reforms to invigorate the commercial space sector across this country and across the world. In fact, I know that many members of the User Advisory Group, leaders in industry that are giving counsel to our nation's space efforts, are with us today. Would the members of the User Advisory Group please stand and allow all of these colleagues to show their appreciation to each and every one of you. Thank you all. I want to thank Admiral Jim Ellis and all the distinguished members of the National Space Council's User Advisory Group. Working with each and one of them and in close cooperation with our allies around the world, including many of the nations represented here, we've encouraged a more stable space environment by developing the world's first comprehensive space traffic management policy. And the guidance of our User Advisory Group assisted with that. Our administration is committed to ensuring that the United States also leverages the power of private enterprise in space And even now, NASA is leading a commercial-friendly effort to develop orbital platforms that will one day replace the International Space Station, as well as the human lunar landers that will carry us back to the moon. Today, thanks to the leadership that President Trump has provided, the United States of America is open for business to all space enterprises. As we build up confidence in the opportunities that space can provide, we've unleashed the American space industry as never before. Evidence of that, in August, SpaceX carried more than 3,300 pounds of samples and cargo down to Earth at the conclusion of its 18th commercial resupply mission for the International Space Station. 2 weeks ago, Northrop Grumman made history when it launched the first ever commercial satellite servicing spacecraft, which will not only extend the lifespan of several satellites, but also pave the way for in-space manufacturing. And just last week, Leo Labs announced the operation of its advanced Kiwi space radar, which has the capability to track debris in space as small as 2 centimeters and will help protect billions of dollars in spacecraft and satellites from colliding with dangerous objects in orbit. And space companies have driven incredible economic growth around the globe. Now, I know that's well understood in this room and by all that are looking on. In the first half of this year, we've seen almost as much invested in space companies as we did in the entire year before. In fact, in the last decade, nearly $25 billion has been invested in nearly 500 different space companies. And I'm proud to say that the majority of those investments have been directed to American businesses. Our continued success in space will require close cooperation of all of us across governments, universities, and the commercial space industry, which is what makes this 70th International Astronautical Congress so important. The good news is that with the renewed American leadership in space, we're also seeing renewed cooperation among freedom-loving nations around the world to advance space exploration. Already, as I stand here today, 18 of the nations represented here have proven their ability to work together through the 19-year mission of the International Space Station. And just last month, Australia announced a historic $150 million investment in the burgeoning space industry in their country, including through support of NASA's Artemis lunar program and our future mission to Mars. Canada has already agreed to support development of the Lunar Gateway, a critical outpost and refueling station that'll help us develop technologies, test the systems, and train the astronauts for the first ever crewed mission to Mars. And just last week, Prime Minister Abe announced Japan's intention to join our efforts both in the Lunar Gateway and on the lunar surface. Japan has been a vital partner of the International Space Station, in our mutual defense, and in countless other endeavors. And so we are grateful for this most recent sign of Japan's enduring commitment to a partnership for their support of our Moon to Mars mission. And as I stand before you today, even now I know that our friends and allies in Europe are holding active discussions about involvement in our space exploration missions. So on behalf of the United States of America, let me say to all of our allies and partners in space, thank you for working with us to advance human understanding in space. We will do it together. You know, when President Trump revived the National Space Council, he said that he believed, as I do, that it's America's destiny to be the leader amongst nations on our adventure into the great unknown. And American history has proven that out. But to be clear, our vision is to be the leader amongst freedom-loving nations on the adventure into the great unknown. And here at this International Astronautical Congress, let me say, the United States of America will always be willing to work closely with like-minded, freedom-loving nations as we lead mankind into the final frontier. As more nations gain the ability to explore space and develop places beyond the Earth's atmosphere, we must also ensure We must also ensure that we carry into space our shared commitment to freedom, the rule of law, and private property. The long-term exploration and development of the Moon, Mars, and other celestial bodies will require the use of resources found in outer space, including water and minerals. And so we must encourage the responsible commercial use of these resources. This is why the United States will continue to honor international law and existing space agreements that protect private property while pursuing new policies that build trust with our allies, our commercial partners, and other spacefaring nations. We will use all available legal and diplomatic means to create a stable and orderly space environment that drives opportunity, creates prosperity, and ensures our security on Earth and in the vast expanse of space. Space plays a critical role in our national security, as it does for every nation around the world. And to that end, President Trump has directed our administration to work with bipartisan leadership in Congress. And soon we will stand up the sixth branch of our armed forces, the United States Space Force. Soon it will be a reality, and the Space Force will be a vanguard to defending our nation, defending our freedom, and defending the rights of all freedom-loving nations in the vast expanse of space. So it's an honor to be with all of you today, to be able to update you briefly on the progress that we're making. And I know this is going to be a momentous week as you gather here at this important international conference. I hope you will leave America's capital with confidence that America is leading in space again, and that we are determined to be the leader amongst freedom-loving nations into the vast expanse of space. We're opening the doors for private space enterprise to develop the means and technology for low Earth orbit. And with the President's vision for NASA's renewed Moon to Mars mission, I truly believe that working with so many of the nations gathered here, we will once again inspire the world by the heights we reach and the history we make. So thank you for the opportunity of addressing each one of you today. You know, it is said, without a vision, the people perish. And I would offer today that so too do great endeavors. The truth is, for more than a generation, a vision for human space exploration had languished in this country and around the world. But those days are over. With America's renewed vision for human space exploration, we will lead mankind into the vast expanse of space. The task before us will involve hardship and hazard, sacrifice and determination, and it will require faith. Faith in the boundless capacity of American ingenuity and the ingenuity and cooperation of freedom-loving nations around the world. Faith in the extraordinary courage of the men and women who even now train and prepare to move the boundary lines of human knowledge. And faith, as generations of Americans have long believed, that even if we rise on the wings of the dawn, even if we go up to the heavens, even there His hand will guide us. His right hand will hold us fast. So thank you for the opportunity of addressing you today and helping to begin what I know will be an important week in the space enterprise in our nation and around the world. And I'm confident that with the leadership of President Donald Trump, with the courage of a new generation of explorers, with the strong support and cooperation of our private partners, and with the strong cooperation of all of our freedom-loving international allies, and with God's help, we will lead the world into the vast expanse of space once again for the benefit of all mankind. Thank you. God bless you. God bless the nations represented here, and God bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, now to begin the IAF World Space Awards ceremony, please welcome back to the stage IAF President Dr. Jean-Yves Le Gall. Dr. Le Gall? Okay, yeah,
So good morning again. First of all, I would like to thank the US Vice President, the Honorable Mike Pence, for giving us the honor of this presence today. His remarks were surely an inspiration and a testimony of the unwavering commitment of the United States of America to pursuing its pivotal role within the space community. The US leadership in the space sector dates back to one of the most significant achievements of humankind when the first man set foot on the moon. This year, the IAF recognizes this historical achievement with its most prominent honor, the IAF World Space Award. This award is presented for outstanding contributions of exceptional impact to the world's progress in astronautics. Let me now invite back Jim Bridenstine, NASA Administrator and nominator of this year's award winner, and the IAF Vice President for Honors and Awards, Seichiro Kibe, to join me on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very pleased to announce the 2019 IAF World Space Award winner, the Apollo 11 crew. Commander Neil Armstrong, Command Module Pilot Michael Collins, and Lunar Module Pilot Buzz Aldrin. They have made an unparalleled impact on space exploration and on human civilization, and have earned their place in the pantheon of human achievement through their heroic feats. During the Apollo 11 mission in 1969 and their subsequent careers. And now I would like to welcome on stage 3 generations of the Apollo 11 family. Buzz Aldrin,
The 2019 IAF World Space Award is presented to Buzz Aldrin, Apollo 11 Lunar Module Pilot.
Neil Armstrong, son Mark,
The 2019 IAF World Space Award is presented to Neil Armstrong, Apollo 11 Commander, represented by his son Mark. The 2019 IAF World Space Award is presented to Michael Collins, Apollo 11 Command Module pilot, represented by his grandson, Luke.
Thank you. It is a great honor to be here on behalf of my grandfather, Michael Collins. Although Mr. Langford before me, as you will hear, covered a lot of my ground, so he maybe should be the representative. So my grandfather gave me the following to read. I'm sorry not to be here today, but I am delighted that my grandson, Luke Newell, is here. I am pleased that his generation seems willing and able to continue what I call outward bound, as described by Alfred, Lord Tennyson. The challenge of my generation was the moon. The challenge of Luke's will be Mars. But a Mars trip will make Apollo seem like child's play and will be a marathon, not a dash. When we returned to Earth, during the world tour, everywhere we went, we heard not you Americans did it, but we did it. I believe organizations like the IAF exemplify the universal human instinct to look up and wonder, to reach out and explore. Such global relationships and cooperation will be vital to the success of any journey beyond our own small Earth-Moon system. And so I am confident that Luke's generation will carry it off that 2-year jaunt to Mars, and from what I know of them, they are off to a good start. Speaking now as myself, and much to my and my entire family's surprise, I have seen Mike conquer the true challenge of my generation, social media. And in reading his posts, now tracking the world tour 50 years in retrospect, I have come to appreciate just how important those global bonds were, are, and will be. Thank you.
Mr. Administrator, Drs. Legal and Kibe, and distinguished members of the International Astronautical Federation, and indeed all those attending this year's Congress. On behalf of my father, I would like to give thanks for this prestigious recognition. In truth, this award belongs to equally the hundreds of thousands that shared the common vision and put forth their best efforts to ensure the successful completion of President Kennedy's mandate. As I accept this award, I look eagerly to the future, to our bold new vision to return to the moon, establish a sustainable presence there, and utilize lunar resources to not only facilitate further exploration of the solar system, but also to create a framework, a platform for countless endeavors from all of you, which are sure to improve the quality of life right here on Earth. It's going to be amazing. Thank you again.
It's indeed an honor to represent the Apollo 11 crew on behalf of our illustrious, honorable commander, Neil Armstrong. What a wonderful world we live in, and a wonderful time for us together. My birthday happens to be the beginning of Aquarius. My mother had no idea. We can rest assured that I will be devoting so much of my energy to improving the Artemis program. And I say that because I know many of you here realize that I don't always just accept things the way they are dealt out to us. And it is indeed an honor to be working with all of you of the Space Exploration Enterprise Alliance. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. They want you all to clear the stage to this side. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Please. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please. Thank you so much. Buzz Aldrin, thank you for everything that you've done for our country. Luke and Mark, thank you for what your families have done to share the stage with people who have influenced every part of the future of mankind. Is truly an honor, truly an honor. And Dr. Legal, I think you have some work to do.
You have to call for our two friends.
Okay.
Now, as per tradition, to declare the IAC 2019 officially open, please let me invite to join on the stage Peter Jankovic, President of the International Academy of Astronautics, and Caillou Schrogel, President of the International Institute of Space Law, and Arnaud Pons, Chair of the Space Generation Advisory Council, and John Langford, President of the American Institute for Aeronautics and Astronautics.
All right, are we ready? All right, guys, here we go. Start the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
So it is with very great pleasure that I declare the 70th International Astronautical Congress, the IAC 2019, officially open.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you, sir.